First Covenant Foundation is proud to present the Rainbow Covenant with Dr. Michael Dallen. We'll explore the Noahide movement and its connection to Israel and the Jewish people. For information, online, rainbowcovenant.org, firstcovenant.com, or call 1-313-891-1920. Okay, we have Dr. Michael Dallen on the line with us, and we also have Rabbi Michael Katz on the line. He is also on a cell, and he's driving, so hopefully we'll be able to hear everybody at the same time. Okay, Dr. Dallen, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Rabbi Katz, thank you for joining us as well.
Hi, Zelda.
Okay, Dr. Dallen, can you tell us a little bit, give us a nice introduction to Rabbi Katz?
Oh, with pleasure. Rabbi Katz is one of the scholars who edited and provided supervision for our book on the Universal Torah, the Rainbow Covenant. He wrote the foreword to Rainbow Covenant. He's one of the 3 trustees and directors of the First Covenant Foundation, along with me and the Reverend Jack Saunders, and he's First Covenant's chief rabbi.
Okay, so Rabbi Katz is with us this morning. Rabbi Katz, how are you? Are you there?
I'm here. I'm well, thank you.
Okay, nice to have you with us. We're having a tremendous storm here in Israel, and we also have this Israel Apartheid Week at the University of Toronto, which is very upsetting to me, and maybe we can get into that in a moment or two. But I'd like to know how you got involved with all of this. How does a rabbi get involved with the Noahide movement, and tell us all about that.
Well, it's serendipitous in many ways. I was the rabbi in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the time, and this is when a number of the Noahide leaders, including Jack Saunders, who's also with the First Covenant, approached me because they were looking for an Orthodox rabbi in their vicinity, and I was the only one who was willing to speak with them, and invited them to...
Why was that? Why were you the only one? Why were you the only one who would speak with them?
Well, the closest other Orthodox rabbis would have been Nashville, Tennessee, and Atlanta, Georgia. And they have larger communities, congregations, and many Orthodox rabbis, those who are rabbis of congregations, feel that their Jewish members are the ones who are paying their salaries, and they find it hard to justify to the communities taking time away from them in order to service a non-Jewish clientele, so to speak. I, being in Chattanooga, which is not a town with a particularly large Orthodox community, and therefore I had quite a bit of time on my hands, so I didn't feel that I was, in any sense, taking something away from my own congregation by giving a few hours a week to Jack Saunders and his colleagues.
Was it something that you wanted to do? Was it something you were very curious about and therefore made that kind of, connection with Dr. Dallen and Jack Saunders? Or was it something that you would look forward to embracing?
At the time that they approached me, I had no idea what they were talking about. In fact, when they asked me to teach them about the Noahide laws, I had to go and start doing the research myself. It's not something that they teach you in yeshiva. Perhaps they should these days. Now there are so many non-Jews coming to us for this information. It wouldn't be a bad idea if there was a course, an elective course on the subject in yeshivas around the world. But when they came to me, I had no information. I had no knowledge about this. I started doing the research. I found my curiosity was piqued. I was very touched. Emotionally, I was touched by their requests. In fact, when they quoted Zechariah to me, saying that, the time will come when all the non-Jews will grab hold of the tzitzis of the Jews and say, take us with you to Zion. And they said they started measuring my tzitzis. They want to know where they're going to grab. And then they quoted me Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu, that they've learned, that they inherited lies from their fathers. These were things I never put into the context of a modern term, of modern times. These, you come across these verses when you read the Haftorah in Shul on that particular Shabbos, but you don't even think of it. This is something that is actually relevant today.
Do you think that people in your congregation or other Jews or other rabbis might have been offended that you took this on when you were uncertain of what the connection would be?
No. There was a Rabbi, Rabbi Weinberg, who was the Rosh Hashiva in Mary Stroll in Baltimore. And he, in fact, that's where I studied. I studied with him. And he met me one day after a number of years I'd been doing this with the Noahides. And he said, that he used to get a number of calls every year from Noahites about laws, and they suddenly dried up. And he was wondering why, and then he found me, and he realized that's why, because I took an over for him. And he was very pleased that I had done that. But there was some resentment, even though I had a small community in Chattanooga, there still was some resentment amongst the Jews. It still felt that despite anything else, especially when I invited them to the synagogue on Yom Kippur, I wanted them to see a service. They felt embarrassed. They felt that the spotlight's on them, everyone's looking at them, and they weren't sure that they really knew what they were doing themselves. And here these non-Jews are observing them. So it's not everyone is that comfortable with the entire experience.
Michael, how did you feel when Rabbi Katz joined the Noahide movement with you? You are a Jew as well, and you have Rabbi Katz. How did you all put this together? And that's how the Rainbow Covenant came out, the book, this incredible book.
Thanks for the compliment about the book. Rabbi Katz worked on it hard with me. I met him when he was already teaching the Noahide congregation. I was working on this, and I came down and saw him working with them, and he'd been there. And he was a terrific teacher, and along with his wife, Toby, they invited me over for Shabbos, and that was a long time ago. And we've been friends and colleagues ever since.
Overdue for another invitation?
Yeah, I guess it is. And me too. I'll come all the way from Toronto. Do you have any answers, Rabbi Katz, as to why the Jewish people are in such, I'm sorry, that's a Yiddish expression from my parents, but in such dire straits at this point? Is it because we don't recognize the importance of ourselves in Torah and whatever? What is the problem that we are having with regard to Israel and all the things going on at this time? I know it's a big question, but
it's probably the answer is that we don't learn from our mistakes.
Okay. So what are our mistakes, and what can we do to fix it?
That we think that salvation will come from the Goyim, that the United Nations will save us, that America will save us. That's the mistake that we always thought somebody else will rescue us from from the fire, and in fact we have to do it ourselves, and stop looking over our shoulder at what everyone else is going to think about us.
How do we do that? How do we do that?
Well, if I knew the answers exactly, maybe that'd make me Prime Minister.
Well, let me suggest that we can do that by knowing who we are, by discovering who we are, by looking at our reflection in the mirror of the eyes of people who aren't Jewish, who come to us and who want to know how to find our God, how to know our God. Let us hope that we are able to discover who and what we are all about in the reflection of this universal law that we have at the core of the Torah. Let's learn some Torah.
Well, that's exactly. We just had Rabbi Kaplan from Chabad a little earlier, and he said that the problem we're having is that we're not studying enough and we're not proud of who we are. And we have so many left-wing liberal Jews who are willing to give away all of Israel, and I don't think they have much of a soul if that's the case, and I'm going to be bombarded with all kinds of...
Well, we have a lot of crackpot right-wing conservative Jews, too, who think that, who are doing exactly what Rabbi Katz is saying, waiting for someone else to save us.
And let's also remember that we're supposed to be the light of the nations. Let's look at how we deal with the Noahites. And we failed. To a large extent, we have failed in that mission. The nations are not being inspired by us. And,
well, that's true.
That.
That's true, and I think we have to be proud of who we are. We have to stand up to what we believe in, and we also have to understand that, as you said, both of you, we are a light to other nations, and we have to illuminate that light and give them the information that they need. We have a tremendous non-Jewish audience, both here and on the internet, and so when you're talking to Jews, but you're also talking to non-Jews as well. The two, we've gone double time, and I wish we could could go even longer, but in the next time we're together, maybe we can continue this dialogue and try to find a way of helping ourselves and helping the non-Jewish community as well through the Rainbow Covenant.
Great.
Thank you both for being with us, Rabbi Katz and Dr. Michael Dallen.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, bye.
The Rainbow Covenant with Dr. Michael Dallen has been made possible by First Covenant Foundation. Online, rainbowcovenant.org, firstcovenant.com, or call 1-313-891-1920.